What's up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome to This Week in Wrestling on the Horny Goat channel. What is going on, everybody? There's some news that we got. It's mostly discussion, not really news. But we're going to talk about what's happened this past week in wrestling. We might talk a little bit about fucking WWE. We'll probably talk a little bit about Monday because I know Gina wasn't there for the Raw review that we did, which will be uploaded sometime tonight. Everybody, calm down. Life happens. Well, just there's certain things on there. I mean, not really.
We're only going to talk about the stuff that leads to SummerSlam.
There was nothing, so we don't need to talk about Raw.
Jack, they set up the match for Randy Orton.
That was on SmackDown. So buy yourself a can of Be Quiet.
Hot dog, diggity dog.
So I have, as you heard, Gina, Basement, Bobbit, Trek, and also Heather, who thinks she knows everything, apparently. I'm just kidding. I'm in one.
Except from the guy who actually got a full night.
You're a dick. Anyway, how are you guys doing tonight?
Meh.
Doing good.
Meh. Gina's meh.
Excited.
We'll talk about the WWE Network too. The fucking update that it did last night.
Oh, it destroyed everything that we were trying to fucking do. Jesus Christ.
I haven't even checked if it works now. Holy fuck, let me check.
I don't understand what's happening.
Oh, with the WWE Network last night.
Oh, I should probably check and see if mine works too.
Mine updated at 2 o'clock in the friggin' morning.
So
Looks like you've taken a wrong turn. You're
It
at
turned
parts
into a best
unknown.
bottom vote tour.
Oh my god, wait.
What?
The fucking arrow still doesn't work. Fucking nah.
Whatever, we're
Anyway,
gonna have to worry about the WWE Network afterwards.
yes. So anyway,
fuck this shit.
so AEW, they announced when the dude looks like he just farted. AEW announced October 2nd as their weekly 2-hour. That it's going to be a 2-hour show, and it's debuting 8/7 Central. If you don't understand what that means, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central time. So they're going to be going for 2 hours. What does that mean for? And I had a few people tweeting, "What are you gonna watch? How about fucking both?"
But NXT comes on at 7.
Yes.
Wait,
so
is it 8 Eastern?
8 Eastern,
Eastern,
7
yeah.
Central.
Okay,
yes.
so it does come on. Okay, because I was thinking 8 Central.
But I've had people put polls out there. Which one are you gonna watch first? Whichever the fuck one I want to. What are you trying to get at? I hate these polls that these people put out on Twitter trying to get you to answer AEW. They're goading you into answering. A lot of them goat you into answering and then saying, why aren't you going to fucking watch AEW? Who said I wasn't going to watch AEW? You dumbass. I had that argument.
Yeah, you dumbass.
Jesus Christ.
Fucking
Maybe
dumbass.
I have a thing called DVR. If I want to watch NXT and then watch AEW, I will fucking do that. It's none of your fucking business what I watch.
I really don't like what they did there, though. Like, personally, I would have preferred that they went on either a Tuesday or a Thursday.
I wouldn't have
Considering
gone
it's
on a
not a
Tuesday.
No, because by that time they're going to be on Fox on Fridays.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but it's basketball then. TNT
Yeah,
will never
basketball's on
replace
TNT.
Okay, so like Thursdays, I would have preferred because.
Basketball's on Thursday, too.
Well, motherfucker.
Basketball's on every fucking day, man.
It is.
Right?
TNT, and they aren't going to fucking preempt AEW for basketball. Or preempt basketball for AEW, ever.
Well, they would be fucking idiots if they did.
Exactly.
because-
Yeah, the NBA is the bigger money deal right there.
AEW is going to have to work around the NBA. It's just the way it is.
Their games
It's
go
gonna
over
take
and they
time,
end
no
up
matter
pulling
what, for
hours of their
AEW
time
to
slot,
get,
that's
like,
what they're stuck with.
A hold on that time slot regardless.
Right. Agreed. So we have an exact date. It is a Wednesday.
Fall is life.
What?
Fall is life.
Did he just orgasm?
I think he did the chick's voice from that game last night. Oh god.
Hitting every octave.
So what do you?
Okay.
What does everybody think about AEW on Wednesdays? They're going to try to get some of the viewers from that watch NXT on Wednesday. I tell you, that's why they did it. I hate to say it, but I can almost guarantee you, kind of, that's why they did it.
Part of the reason is probably also the networks sitting there saying, listen, we got bigger money in this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, this spot, and you're a brand new company. Prove it to us first, and then maybe we'll think about it.
Think about what? Oh.
Putting you on a different time.
No.
Different time slot, yeah.
Well, whatever. That's not where I was going with that.
I know, but that's my thoughts on it.
My thinking is they are trying to take viewers away from WWE, but what AEW is missing a boat on is that NXT is on the fucking network, so people can go back and watch it. So they really aren't going to lose. WWE's not going to lose viewership on the network.
And just recently, look at that whole thing with G1 one day, fucking All Out the next day, and then on that same day you had Evolve.
Hold on. They didn't do All Out.
No, Double or Nothing, sorry.
Okay. So that was the weekend that they had a pay-per-view too, didn't? No, that was.
No, it was just the Evolve 10th anniversary.
Oh, that was Fight for.
That was
the
on a
Fallen.
Saturday, and that was the same night as
Evolve.
Well, yeah, Evolve was on the same night as AEW.
Fight for the Fallen, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The bottom line is AEW is going to have to come to a place where they just have to understand they're going to be sharing viewership with WWE. That's whoever's watching WWE is probably going to be watching AEW and vice versa.
Well, and not only that, but they started this. See, one thing that I don't really like about what AEW is doing is when they first started this, they were kept on saying how like they wanted to bring new fans in, they wanted to give people something new, something fresh. They weren't in competition with WWE, and then all of a sudden it's like they started, and it's just like all of that just went out the door.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the thing. You can't create a business around wrestling and say you're not in competition
Yeah, you
with
can't.
the other wrestling businesses.
No, I mean,
there's no way it's a
The
way
way
around
that Cody
Sorry.
and the Young Bucks explained it was like, of course they know that there's going to be some form of competition because it's it's wrestling. There's going to be competition between different shows, even New Japan, but they said that they weren't going to go out and attack WWE, and then all of a sudden we see what was it, Double or Nothing? Was it Double or Nothing or Fight for the Fall? No, it was
Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing.
And all of a sudden he comes out and he's like, which I thought was pretty fucking cool, but he destroys Triple H's fucking throne. And it's like,
Yep.
oh, well, all right.
Poke at the bear. It's your first
They come
major
out and they
event.
do
Good idea.
that.
what's that?
He comes out, he destroys the throne, and then you have Kenny Omega bitching like a little fucking vagina
Bitch.
queen about
That's
they're
your
putting a
favorite
show on at
wrestler.
the same time. Yeah, well, fuck him with his fucking
He comes out and
Cut
bitches
his
about
dick up,
counter programming.
Take off and shove it up his own ass because that kind of thing I can't stand.
I mean, I'm gonna watch both. I'm gonna DVR one. Well, I won't have to DVR one if I don't want to, but if I choose to watch NXT first, I'll DVR AEW. I don't have to give. I give viewership who I want to give viewership to. Is the point I'm trying to get at. So with people sitting there saying, "Oh well, you should watch AEW," I have. I've watched their last their 3 shows. And right now, I hate to say this, their shows, if they're going to put out shows like that, it's not worth $50. It's not.
100% get the fuck rid of the librarian.
Yes.
Yes.
Get rid of that. Oh my god.
AEW is going to have to be focused on live views. WWE doesn't really give a shit because it's the network. They're more about who's subscribing and the money they're paying or getting per month from it.
Yep.
And they don't have to worry about the per view count for NXT on the network.
Yep. Actually, let's. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about with AEW?
No.
Well, I do.
There's a
Did you see
couple
the
other.
Let me finish something, brother.
There's a couple of
It's
other
your old pal
things.
Hulk Hogan here.
There's a couple of other things. CM Punk reveals recent AEW offer sent via text message. However, Cody tweeted out that I think he was misquoted. I don't know the whole thing.
But CM Punk was quoted?
Yes. Somebody has met. He doesn't want to come to AEW. Essentially, is what it is. In fact, Cody even tweeted out. He said if he goes anywhere, he's going back to WWE. So
He should go back to the UFC and get his ass beat again.
That was fucking funny. I agree.
Third time's the charm.
we didn't hear you, Bobbit. You gotta speak up.
Who's Hulk Hogan?
Your opinion on AEW?
You're talking, and all of a sudden you just like, whoop.
Well, he was Hoganing.
Do you got something to say about AEW?
It's ruined now.
Well,
Fucking put the microphone up in your fucking.
no, don't say that because he'll put it next to his ass and fart into it.
Fucking Bobbit. Well, it's ruined now.
Just scoring the girlfriend.
Oh my god.
What did you say? Sorry, man, I didn't hear you. Well, okay, go cry in your soup.
Not now.
Well,
I
Sounds
did
like
have
a
something to
scorned
say about
girlfriend.
AEW though.
Like not.
Did you guys see the AEW like picture that they put out? Saying,
yeah, give me a break.
Wait,
Did that
which
not
one?
look like 90210?
It did. I know which one you're talking about now. With the one with Jungle Boy and Nyla Rose and all them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they were releasing like a all Christian rock album.
But here's my question. Okay, like obviously they had the Elite in there. But my question is, why did they have Nakazawa, Nyla Rose, and Jungle Boy of all people in there with them?
I guess that's who was available at the time.
But I mean, they're not like they're not their top stars. So Nakazawa and Nyla Rose I could understand because like Nyla of course is the first transgender in a major company, and then Nakazawa is Asian.
They also
He's a
had
minority.
Awesome Kong on the
So,
cover.
like, I can understand them, but I started thinking about it, and I'm wondering if they didn't have Jungle Boy in there because of his father.
100%.
Yeah.
Because people recognize his face because he looks a lot like he has his mom's hair, but he looks a lot like his dad.
He's got his dad's face, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if that's the hair he has on his head, imagine his fucking dick hair.
I don't
That's all I'm
want
saying.
to.
Imagine.
Right.
Like, he's a baby. I don't want to.
Not a baby. He's got a full-grown dick.
I mean, yeah, maybe, but he's still a fucking baby. That's just wrong.
Oh my Lord in heaven.
He's just like, I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Well, I did see the picture, and I also seen the picture where it had just a few of them, and it didn't have it. I think it might have had a couple of them on there, but they were. It was a Friends caption thing.
Yeah.
It had the Elite, and then it had like the Friends logo or whatever. Yeah. My boss actually, well, my former boss now, he had a shirt on today's. What did it say? Carrillo.
Gorilla, yeah.
And it looked like Friends, the Friends logo. So it must be Italian for Friends or something. I don't know. He said, I don't even really know what this means because I don't speak the foreign languages so well. I could mean you're a dumbass. It's kind of
I don't speak the foreign languages. So
that's exactly
how
what
it was.
that's what he said. I don't
Oh
speak
my
the
God,
foreign
that's great.
languages. He's a funny guy. And they were drinking at the fucking gathering.
Yeah.
I would have, but I had to drive fucking little kids around today. So
I don't think
That's all the more reason.
I wouldn't have cared.
Pull a
I know
Jimmy
you
Uso.
What's
Oh
that?
God, no.
Pull a Jimmy Uso.
Which is our next topic. Does anybody got the CM Punk reveals? Did you guys hear about this at all? The
Yeah, I
CM
heard
Punk.
mention of it.
CM Punk.
I know you
It's the
don't,
same.
but it's one of those newsworthy things because everybody's talking about it. Oh, CM Punk is confirmed. And no, CM Punk ain't confirmed for shit. The only thing CM Punk is confirmed for is that he got his ass beat twice at UFC.
CM Punk looks like a fucking. He honestly looks like a lesbian.
And honestly, he's been out of the ring so long, and I think I've said this before. He's been out of the ring so long. What is he going to do? Is he going to come and cut a promo? Is that what people want to fucking see? The guy hasn't wrestled in, what, 8, 9 years? Yes, he fought in a ring, but that's completely different.
Actually, no, it hasn't been that long because he was there in 2014.
Okay, so it's been 5 years. But still, it just I don't care about CM Punk. If he shows up, he shows up. What's he gonna do? Fucking drop another fucking pipe bomb? Who cares? I don't care.
He's so far removed from the business at this point in time. Even if he did, it wouldn't matter.
Right.
Like, fuck him, man. Change his finisher to put them to sleep.
Right.
If he comes back.
Right. Totally agree. Bobbit, Trek.
Fuck CM Punk. He can go kiss my ass.
He can go kiss your ass?
It's not like you'd have to go
Kiss
far.
my ass,
Oh, wait,
then.
unless you turn sideways
Fuck.
and then you can't see you.
Go ahead, Bobbit. Bobbit?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Oh my god, stop.
I think there's a much better chance that AJ Lee will be back instead of CM Punk. And I'd actually rather have her back than him.
Yeah, she would add something.
The women's division needs somebody like her.
Yep.
Yes. But I mean,
Um,
in all realities, AJ should have never left. It was because of him that AJ left to begin with. So.
Yep.
He just
Totally
seems like a cranky fuck, you know? Like just a person that would be terrible to be around.
His nickname was CM Grump. So, no surprise.
It's number one on the dad jokes for tonight.
No, that's what Bruce Pritchard said. His nickname was CM Grump.
Well, that's your problem. Bruce Pritchard said that. Bruce Pritchard has fucking dad jokes galore.
I'll be right back.
I agreed. The next thing of Jimmy Uso again, he got arrested. I don't know if this is his fourth one, his fourth DUI. This time it happened in Florida. How many DUIs is this guy gonna get before they finally say enough is enough?
Here's
Well,
the
again-
thing, though. The problem is DUIs are not federalized, so
There's really nothing they can do about it.
there's nothing that they
legally
can
other
do
than-
because they've been in different states.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Which is really, really shitty. And I know that WWE issued a statement saying that he's responsible for his own actions, but I honestly think that it's time that they step in because it's fine if he wants to drink or whatever, but the fact that he is getting behind the wheel of a car, he is going to either end up hurting himself or killing somebody else.
Yeah.
Nope, I agree.
And why you just said it in the chat. It looks really bad after John Cena made fun of it on Raw.
Well, they didn't know that he was gonna do it again.
Yeah.
So them doing that, it doesn't look really bad, but I think he needs help.
But
I
here's
really
my
do.
question,
Yes.
and I agree. But here's my question: did anybody happen to hear what his blood alcohol level was?
I did
I have
not.
not seen a report on that yet, no.
I haven't either, but I know that he has a history of resisting. Because when Naomi was driving down the wrong side of the road and they got pulled over, he was resisting arrest. Like even though he wasn't driving, he was resisting arrest. So I know that he has a tendency to do that. So I'm wondering if maybe he wasn't as drunk as they're letting on, and he just got arrested for DUI because he wasn't complying with the officer.
Right.
Well, they also said he was
Actually,
speeding,
okay,
so it
I-
also
I
depends
read
on
a
how
report
fast he was
today.
Hold
going.
on, Bobbit. Go ahead. Just hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Heather.
They also said he was speeding, so it could have also been excessive speeding.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bobbit. Bobbit, you can go ahead.
Okay. I read a report today saying that when the cop pulled him over, at first it was because of the speeding, but when the cop had him in the car, he had to roll down the window because Jay or Jimmy, whatever the fuck
Jimmy.
one of them
It was
is,
Jimmy.
smelled of booze that bad. Like, apparently
Well-
he was reeking of alcohol.
You know, and that's the thing. If he is reeking of alcohol like that and he is speeding excessively, they're lucky. Actually, I'm gonna scratch that. Not they. He is lucky that the cop caught him when he did, and he didn't end up killing himself or someone else, because it's a matter of time before the USO ends up in the actual penitentiary.
Okay. I agree. The actual USO. He
Uh,
actually
actual-
ends up in an actual penitentiary.
But the report I read today, the speed, he was going at 86 and a 45.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
that's
Wow,
excessive speed.
Jesus
That is
Christ.
automatic arrest.
That's jail time
That is automatic arrest.
and jail time.
Maybe
Well,
he
and
spilled
you
the
know-
drink on himself, which is why he smelled so bad.
Well, but you know what the thing is, if he was intoxicated, then they could actually end up charging him with, if they wanted to be pricks about it, they could charge him with, what was it? It's not attempted manslaughter, but it's something similar.
It's
Where, like,
reckless driving.
reckless driving,
DUI.
but it's like the most severe form of reckless driving possible, and that comes with
What
prison
is
time.
wrong with these fucking guys? Like, you're making tons of money. You're probably millionaires.
He has
Yeah,
a
you're
beautiful wife, because
the
if
dumbest
I'm
motherfucker
thinking
alive.
correctly, Jimmy's the one that's married to Naomi, right?
I don't,
Yeah.
They feel
Why
their
don't they just
celebrity
hire an
status holds
Uber?
them above everybody else.
I don't know
Why
if
not
that's
just hire
true,
an
but-
Uber or a
From
taxi
my-
driver? You have the
from
money.
From my understanding, he was traveling from one town to the next town that he had to be at.
Thank God they weren't doing a ride along.
Right?
I
How
don't
many
know, right?
times during that USO ride along that they had to cut from filming because the USOs needed a beer?
Right?
They're my heroes.
No, but
Oh, it had to
I
be the
think
stupidest
he needs
fucking
help.
thing.
That's my thing. He needs help. I drink too, but this is, if I drink at home now. I don't go out to bars
Well,
and drink anymore.
and there's a difference, like, I still go out to bars every once in a while and drink and stuff, but there's a difference between, I know when I cannot get in the car and drive, even
Well,
though
I
I'm
don't drive.
intoxicated.
Period. If I drink.
Yeah, but even if I'm intoxicated, I still, like, I know when I'm okay to drive and when I'm not. And him not being able to tell that limit tells me that he needs help.
He needs help.
Well,
he
you're the
does.
person that he needs to be hit with something. Like, he needs to actually be charged with something and have to suffer the consequences of it. Because it seems like these guys get in trouble with the law and then nothing happens, and it's just like, because they are who they are and because they have the backing of what they have, it's like, oh, they get the sense that they're untouchable. But like, it only takes a second to make a huge mistake and you're killing people, and now you're in jail for life.
Right. I think I agree. He needs help, because why society and why society. Brad Shepard is not a guy you want to fucking.
Yeah. And that's why I said too, until it comes out from them or from an actual reliable source, I'm not gonna buy it, because like him and Naomi, they seem. I know if anything, the alcohol is probably causing the problems between the two of them.
Yeah.
I don't really care. Like, I don't care about the relationship as much as I mean, he's doing something that nobody else could really get away with, and that's essentially the problem. He's
Adam.
endangering the lives of other people by doing that shit. So
Yes.
stop.
Right. Adam, actually, here in the United States, we have bartenders. Our bartenders especially in the state of Wisconsin, they are trained to see
Who's mean?
who is intoxicated. If they see that somebody is too intoxicated,
They will cut them off.
they make the bartenders responsible if
Mhm.
somebody
Yeah, they
gets
cut 'em
into an
off.
accident around here. So
Yeah, they'll cut you off, and then like they'll actually keep an eye on you. Or if the bar's really busy and whatever, and if they have a bouncer there, then the bartender will have a bouncer keep an eye on you and make sure that you don't try to drive.
But I do kind of agree that they should have, and it would be nice, but it costs a lot of money to install a breathalyzer into the car, and if you are blow over a certain point, you cannot. That car will not unlock for you.
I swear they
Well,
have these.
They do.
things
They
that
do.
like,
They
if
have
you've
it for
committed
people
a
But
who
it-
felony of
yeah, they
suspended
do.
licenses
Actually,
because
anybody
of
that I don't know about anywhere else, but I believe in the state of Minnesota, and now anybody that has gotten any kind of driving under the influence or driving while
Yes.
intoxicated, you are required as part of your probation
Yep.
to
It was the
do the
same in New
breathalyzer
York.
test.
But I mean, make it a standard, because it'll cut down on the accidents and the impaired driving on the roads. It'll make the roads safer.
Yeah,
But they don't.
sometimes those things are faulty too.
They can be.
Because
But more
I'm
often,
not gonna lie, like I blew into one of those things 3 times and it came back as 0.00, and I drank a lot that night.
But
Right.
3
the other thing,
times
too,
and
like,
3 different guns.
Right.
with a bunch of with wrestlers in general, like they're all going to the same place. You'd think like as a company you'd kind of create a bus that kind of takes everybody. If you miss it, then of course you've got to drive yourself. But WWE seems to have a lot of their wrestlers get in a car together and drive, which is why they're like, well, we might as well capitalize on this time and throw a camera in there so everyone can see. Why don't they just take them as a unit?
I just realized that what I just said before probably came off bad. I want to clarify, I was not driving that night. I have a friend. I have a friend
No,
who
she
is a
was
police
driving.
officer. No, I have a friend who's actually a cop, and he
What
was
cop
just
video?
he was just randomly breathalyzing us for like just the fucking hell of it that night. So
What a dick. But anyway. So yeah, Jimmy Uso. I don't know if this is going to affect anything going forward with the Usos. It hasn't before. I don't think it will now.
and that's the problem. They are their
I get
they
it.
are their
I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree. I think they need to step in and do something. Because they're too good of a tag team to not use them, but they need to make an example. This is how WWE could set an example. Say, you want to be a fuck up? This is what's happening to the Usos. They are
Yeah.
they're not going to be shown on TV. We're not even going to fucking
Well,
use
they
them.
can't
They
pick and
do till
choose
they
who they make an
box.
example of,
Well,
which
you
they've
know,
done in the past.
Here's the thing. I know that the Usos are on fire, and I know that they're one of their hottest tag teams. But in order to make an example, not only out of them, but for them, in order to help them, I say you have the club. You have the club now. Utilize the club and make the club go against the Revival instead of the Usos.
Mm-hmm. True.
I mean, I think it's more like they need help more than they need punishment.
Yes.
And sometimes those two things are the same, but sometimes they're not, depending on the person you're dealing with.
No,
'Cause
I'm not.
punishment can equal resentment, and people tend to fall further into their, I guess their crutch or their addiction when they're punished. Whereas like bringing light to the table and saying, "You guys are fucking up, man, and this is gonna end really badly for you. Keep doing this. We are aware of it. So is everybody."
Right.
That lies more on the law than it does on the company, but.
Well, and I think that they need to have a discussion with Jimmy as well, not just about the alcohol and stuff, but about the resisting of arrest, because he's going to end up getting killed. I mean, if it's not the alcohol, then he's going to end up getting shot by an officer when he's resisting arrest.
But this is like, I mean, we've talked for a while about like.
Gina?
Huh?
What, Bobbit?
Yes, Bobbit.
He wasn't resisting arrest. He was so drunk that he couldn't get his stuff out.
Oh, see, the article that I read said that he was resisting at first, not like fighting, but like verbally, and that's fine. But the last time when Naomi was driving, he was fighting with them.
Right.
Right.
And we've talked a lot about like when you're in the public eye like that, unfortunately you become like a role model. And no matter what these guys say, and they're like, well, I never signed up to be a role model. It's like, what's part of the territory?
Yeah.
You signed up to be a public figure. You signed up to be a role model. So try to be one, because right now all he's showing is like bad behavior.
Yep.
Well, and I know that it kind of like, at first, I'm not gonna lie. At first, I thought that this was like WWE kind of planting stuff, because like it goes with their bad boy image with the Usos penitentiary thing. But obviously, this is not WWE planting stuff. His gimmick has become real life.
Mm-hmm.
In more ways than
Well, I
one.
feel like
Yeah.
part of why their gimmick was as good as it is because they're kind of like that anyway, and
Yeah.
I think that goes for anybody that's a wrestler. Part of their personality goes into that, and then like everybody says, dial it up to 10. But like outside
Well-
of the ring, there's no excuse for drinking and driving. As a how old is he? 30 plus for sure.
There's no reason for
Yes.
drinking and driving, especially speeding like that. And
Nah,
I
they're
can
about the same
understand if you're
age as
like
Roman
19
Reigns.
years old because we all make stupid mistakes. But like, you're a fucking grown ass man. Don't be a dumbass.
Whatever, they're about the same age. No, I totally agree. Heather's saying how old are they? I think they're the same, about the same age as Roman. Maybe
they're twins.
I know that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the same age as each other, and I'm like, Joe, you're
One's
twins.
older.
As
They didn't
Roman.
come out at the same time. Or else the
yeah,
mom-
they couldn't come out of the vagina at the same time. That'd be painful as
That's
fuck.
true.
Yeah,
True.
mom was split in half.
Adam says they're 33.
Okay, so they're the same age as Roman Reigns.
Done.
God,
So yeah.
You don't see the big dog making these mistakes.
No,
The
you
big
don't.
Dog.
And that's why he's, I wouldn't say he's a model citizen, or
He's a
model
responsible
employee,
family
but
man.
But that's
he
one-
is.
He made his
That's
mistakes
also-
earlier in life, and he's fixed
but
his
that's
ways.
also one of the big reasons why Roman is
Where he's at.
Vince's golden boy, and that's why he gets pushed the way he does, because he does lead a clean life, and I mean, he's not 100% clean of everything as far as I know, like he's not CM Punk, but he doesn't get into trouble like that. He's a
Right.
family man.
Yes. Totally agree. I totally agree.
And like I said, he made his mistakes while he was young.
Exactly.
Right. So Matt Riddle, and this is just a little tidbit Heather wrote down, that Matt Riddle is going to fight at Evolve 133 and 134. They're back-to-back days. And he'll be doing that at Evolve. He is going to be wrestling Josh Briggs, and then he will be fighting Kurt Stallion.
He's teaming with Kurt Stallion.
Teaming with Kurt Stallion to fight the tag team champs of AR Fox and Leon Ruff, that goofy-looking tag team that won the tag
God,
team
the
titles.
guy with Macarena. Oh God. Okay, but why does the name fucking Jason Briggs?
Josh Briggs.
Or
Josh Briggs.
Jason Briggs, I think, is the guy from American Pie.
Josh Briggs. He's that
Jason
big
Biggs.
dude. He's like 6'10". He's bigger than the Undertaker.
Okay.
Wait, he's
Well, then-
teaming with someone named Frank Stallion.
Kurt Stallion.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
I'm not
is
glad I'm not the only one
100%.
that can't hear tonight.
100% gay porn name.
Kurt Stallion. Curve your stallion, Kurt.
Jump on my horse cock.
Oh my God.
Right?
The horse is in the back.
Wise Society, Roman did get suspended in 2016 for failing a drug test. However, it wasn't actual drugs. What he did was, there's a certain pill that they can't take, and it's basically for bodybuilding and weight loss. And he
It's a form of
made a
steroid.
mistake and took that pill.
And I don't even think it was the pill. It was more like one of the ingredients in the pill
Yes.
that's not
Yeah.
allowed, that's been blocked. And I guess he didn't really know either it was blocked or
He
that
didn't know-
pill contained it.
Yeah, he
that's
didn't
why I
know
said
that
it was
in
more
there.
of like an innocent drug failure because it
Mhm.
wasn't purposefully taken against the rules.
But
Right.
he took his punishment. If you noticed, Roman Reigns took his punishment and
He
dealt
did
with it.
quietly, no complaining.
Unlike certain female on the roster.
Sorry.
So WWE Triple H has had meetings with Dragon Gate and Stardom Promotions, and also spoke with a couple of Australian promotions. I don't know exactly who those Australian promotions are.
They were not named.
So what that why? Okay, I think explain this. They won't push the Japanese superstars, but they'll try and use and hoard their talent. They don't want them to go to New Japan and then ultimately go to AEW.
But I also don't know if saying they don't push or won't push Japanese superstars is correct. It's more like they don't know how to push them.
And also, if you
You've
look at my
seen them,
notes
some
there,
of them get chances. but because they don't there's not an immediate fan base that latch on to them,
Right.
they kind of give up.
Right.
And then they just wallow in the middle of the fucking roster for a long time.
Can I ask a question real quick? And I know that this
Sure.
is off topic, but
Sure.
but Adam just said something about Neville in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
What is with him in AEW? Like, did his contract get canceled, or
I think
because he dropped the Dragon Gate title?
Yeah, but
Well, he's going to he's getting ready to go to AEW.
Okay, because I know like he was supposed to fight at Double or Nothing, but then he found out that like or something with the title, like Dragon Gate didn't, or no, it wasn't Dragon Gate. I don't know, it was something with the title, and or no, he found out that he was gonna have to drop the Dragon Gate title eventually, and he didn't like that, so then he just like didn't show.
Right.
I don't know the actual reason behind the whole thing with him in AEW. The only thing I understood was that there wasn't really bad blood between what happened with them.
Yeah.
But as far as it goes with Neville, I don't think any of us here can fault him for what happened with him in WWE. That was just a terrible situation he got pigeonholed in. He is much better than what they were doing with him. It's just, I think he's now painted with a bad brush because it went from that to this fallout with AEW that left a sour taste in a lot of fans' mouths. We'll see what happens. I think I think AEW desperately needs him.
I do say that if he found out that we were calling him Neville, he would murder all of us. So
I'm going to say this. I am not on board with that basement. I think he's a complete douchebag.
I don't know enough to say one way or the other. Again, like everything that's happened, I mean, I can't fault his decision to leave WWE because if you look at what they were doing with all of the cruiserweights at that point in time, the whole like creation of that cruiserweight, like the actual cruiserweight 205 shit was absolutely capping everybody.
Oh my god!
No, if that's that I understand, but for him to walk away and not honor his, I mean, well, I shouldn't say he didn't honor his contract, but
he honored the contract. But the thing was, like, they wanted him to come out, and his whole thing was he would have been completely fine if it would have been anybody else with that title, but because it was Enzo Amore, he felt like it was degrading for him to go out and keep on getting his ass kicked by Enzo. So that's why he said, I'm not doing this anymore, because it was hurting him. It wasn't hurting Enzo, it was hurting him.
Right.
It was hurting everybody because Enzo had no place there. And what happened to Enzo eventually? Like, I mean, there's so much that goes on outside of what people see at WWE. But, like, if he had so many problems off screen, which is evident, Enzo, at least, is who I'm talking about, then it's not like these guys didn't know that those problems were there. And he's like, well, you know, this guy is fucking a cancer on the actual WWE, and he's going to get the spot over I am, where I've towed the line, I've done everything I can, and now I'm taking a step back for the company, and then taking a further step back.
My thing is,
I said in Triple H.
With Pac, I mean, with WWE, they fucked so badly because, okay, it's not like
so badly.
Shut up. They fucked up so badly. It's not like, thank you, baby. It's not like Neville had never fought heavyweights before, so relegating him to 205 was a bad move to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, you bring a huge talent. Like, he's a douchebag, but you bring a huge talent like Austin Aries in, and you relegate him to 205 Live.
205 Live was the problem more than anything. The creation of a separate brand that never needed to happen. They had an easy-to-fill hour on Raw that they couldn't book anyway. Why don't you just integrate the cruiserweights and allow them to fight everybody and anybody? Mm-hmm. Rey Mysterio, who's a fucking 3-foot midget with his whole body is fusing together, can fight and beat Samoa Joe. So why not have the rest of the guys do it?
3-foot midget. Oh my god.
Well, I mean, they didn't relegate. See, my whole thing was, and even fucking Finn Balor. I'm sitting there. Finn Balor is lighter than Neville. How come fucking Finn Balor can fight fucking Brock Lesnar and
That's
not
what I'm
Neville?
Saying.
And I'm also had like a moveset that he could do, like German suplexes and things like that. They just needed to diversify his moveset to have a bit more power moves. He could pull it off. The guy's a fucking tank.
But the thing was when Neville was there the first time around, but prior to him leaving the first time, he was fighting big heavyweight guys. So there was no reason when he came back, he was in 10 times fucking better shape than the first time he was there.
Right.
When he was wearing the fucking cape and shit. You guys remember that?
Yeah, well, I'm not a fan of Neville anyway, so.
Yeah, he came back after he broke his ankle.
Actually, I am a fan of Neville. Like when I got back into wrestling, he was one of the things that I was like, this guy can basically do it all, if he doesn't get pigeonholed, which eventually he ended up getting. And I don't think it was fair to him because he can do a lot more than just this fucking 18,000 flips off the top rope.
Yeah.
And I hate when they make a wrestler only that.
Yeah. Well, I love Neville as far as a wrestler goes, but something about him, I think he's a douchebag in real life.
He does seem like he comes out.
Well, that and the fact that, like, if you guys remember, I can't remember what show it was on. I think it was on a ride-along, but it was like, I can't remember if it was Carmella or Bailey or who it was, but
It was Bailey. It was Bailey and Sasha. They pulled up behind him in a drive-thru. Bailey jumped out of the car, ran up to his window. Was like, "King Neville, let me take a picture with you. We're friends." And he says, "No, we are not friends."
Yeah, but apparently
maybe that's just the rapport they have with each other.
Right, right. But apparently he did that to fans as well. Like he was not very
sociable,
accommodating with fans.
I do.
I mean, he might have an ego problem. I don't know. Like this is all speculation. I will say, like with him, I think he's a great in-ring talent. I think he was misused in WWE, so I can't fault him for leaving. And with the AEW thing, I think things just fell apart for reasons that nobody knows. But if there's no bad blood between him and that company, then it obviously was like an amicable split. And I hope he does come back.
Apparently, he had an issue. Somebody just said it in chat earlier. I think it was Wise Society. But apparently he had an issue because they wanted him to they wanted him to lose the title match against Hangman Page, and he didn't want to lose the match while he was still champion at Dragon Gate because it would have made him look weak. So that was where the issue lied.
Right.
If that's the case, then yeah, that's fucked up. Because like, are you willing to build the company that you're going to be working with that needs to be built by, everybody's got to lose a match. You can't be fucking Hulk Hogan.
Well, Kenny Omega even lost his first fucking match there.
But I mean, at this point in time in the game for AEW, I don't think it's that detrimental to anybody to lose or win. Wait until the shows actually start, and then you kind of see how things play out. But at the same time, you are a wrestler, a performer. You're going out there to do what's best for the business, more so than you're doing what's best for yourself. Though you always have to keep yourself in mind, because at the end of the day, if you're being booked to be a pile of shit, you're only gonna take money out of your own hands.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm going to say this: Triple H specifically is the one in talks with Dragon Gate, as Heather said in the chat, and Stardom. So we'll see where it leads.
It seems like Vince McMahon brought WWE to a place where they have dominated North America, and Triple H will probably be the guy that kind of makes them more worldwide market.
Well, he already has, because Triple H is responsible for NXT UK.
Exactly, like he already has, but with him reaching out to like Australia and different promotions in China or Japan,
they're going to China.
Yeah,
try more.
Well, and I'm hoping, like Heather said, I'm hoping that this is meaning that they're kind of starting to shift the momentum towards Triple H kind of leading the charge.
I don't want Triple H taking over.
Well, the only reason why I say I'm hoping for that is just simply because if they bring in these top-notch foreign stars, I want to see them utilized the way that they should be utilized, not relegated to fucking 205 Live or relegated to a comedy act like Shinsuke Nakamura.
I mean, I'm going to say, I keep saying this, I get it, everybody wants Triple H to take over, but they are not going to change as much as you think. Triple H
No, but
won't.
I mean, with Triple H, the only thing with Triple H I'm hoping is simply, like I said, that the foreign
Talent
stars
will be
are
better utilized
treated a little bit
in-
better.
in some ways.
Yes, the
I would say that you'll see-
NXT talent will be utilized a little better, but you're always going to see Brock Lesnar,
Oh,
Roman
of course.
Reigns,
Oh,
Seth
God, yeah.
Rollins.
So
They're
there's-
always going to be there.
We're not disagreeing
think-
with that.
okay.
We're just saying that certain other talent will be better utilized than what they are now.
Well,
Yeah.
I can just see it now. Vince McMahon steps down tomorrow, and all of a sudden, okay, Triple H is taking over, and it's like, oh my God, now we're going to get Finn Balor versus fucking Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE title. No, you're not.
No.
It's not going to happen.
No, but at least we'll see Shinsuke Nakamura on TV for more than just me to face.
I think it's
Yeah.
much more likely you'll see a bunch of like subsidiary companies of WWE crop up under Triple H, where it's like, oh, NXT China, NXT Australia, that type of
Yes.
thing. I don't think the main roster is going to change much because JP, you and I were talking about it. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but people always think it's so easy to fix what's wrong with
No.
WWE, but it's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like they are actually doing a better job than I'm going to say 99% of everybody can do. Yes, the company's not great. No, the shows aren't great, but in order to get better, they have to kind of, I guess,
Get
you know,
smaller.
zone in on a certain demographic instead of being so widespread. The fact that they're trying to hit everybody from being 0 years old to fucking 99,
Mhm.
you're never going to have something that's a 9 out of 10 unless
Correct.
you narrow your gaze on something. So I don't think Triple H taking over would change much with the main roster. They kind of found a formula that keeps them afloat, and that's at times that's the best you can hope for with something that's as big as WWE.
Right. No, totally
Well,
agree.
Triple H even said himself in 2015 on the Stone Cold podcast,
Uh-huh.
when you have that big of a demographic, you're never ever going to please everybody.
No, and that's just wrestling in general. You can't, because you see it every day. People are like, well, okay, so they're going to have, I'm just using this as an example. They're going to have Finn Balor facing Kofi Kingston for the title. And then Finn Balor wins, and, well, that's not the way I wanted that match to go. Well, how the fuck did you want it to go? You asked for this match. We gave it to you, but yet you're still not fucking happy.
Well, and I think that, like, okay, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think that, like, WWE for the past, like, 20, 30 years have been relying pretty much on our generation because, okay, the Attitude Era was huge simply because
It was our teenage years.
that our teenage years are I'm gonna say anywhere from late preteen all the way up to like early 20s. Okay.
Yes.
And the reason why that was huge was because it was edgy. Raw is war. They were in a war with WCW, so it was that edgy kind of style that all of us wanted to see in our teenage years. Well, then they kind of stuck with us as we got older because then you hit the John Cena era, the PG era. And by that era, a lot of us were starting to have children who were watching wrestling with us.
And since we had the credit cards and we started buying the merchandise.
Exactly. So they've kind of stuck. I know it seems like they've been sticking with a small child demographic, but it's because of our generation. That's the generation that started this whole thing because the generation that was watching during the Raw is War and the Attitude Era, they've moved along with us and they've molded it to our families.
Right.
Well,
and that's another reason why. I'm sorry.
For the Attitude Era, it was right time, right place. Like you look back then, that type of like everybody was kind of the same mindset of there was a transitional period of fuck the man, fuck the corporation type deal, which bled down into that was the 90s. It was a rebellious age for mankind in general, in North America at least. And then now, if you tried to do that with the current I guess political or social climate that it is, it's like everybody needs to be accepted. Wrestling, unfortunately, this is the problem I think AEW is going to face. The social climate right now is just so toxic that if they try to get that fan base is not going to really help you. It's going to be
Well,
detrimental.
and yeah, and I think that like with WWE sticking with like the people that were watching during the Attitude Era, and then you had the PG era where like we started having children, and now if you notice, they're starting to kind of slip back into that PG-14
Mm-hmm.
every once in a while, and I think that's because our children a lot of them are hitting their teenage years now, or
Yeah.
they're in their teenage years already, so it's kind of sticking with the demographic of whoever was watching in the Attitude Era. It's like following it. So if you
And-
think that way, they're kind of fucking geniuses.
And
But-
I'm
but-
going to
hey.
say this. They have said, and I have heard this, they're never going back to TV 14.
Yeah, but I just mean like I don't mean like they're going back to TV 14. I just mean like you can see glimpses of it now more than you have been within the past 10 years.
Well, TV PG, I mean, with TV 14, the reason that WWE was TV 14 during the Attitude Era was because
they
of
had
the.
tits.
Yep, it's exactly the reason why. It's the only reason why. Because you can still do all that other shit that they do, like with the chair shots and stuff. You just can't do the chair shots to the head anymore.
Yeah.
That's another reason why it became TV 14. You can do blood. You can even swear on TV. WWE just chooses not to show, or you know what I mean, because their demographic at the time is kids 5 to 14 years old.
But if you notice now, they're starting to swear more and more. But if you look at the time when they start to kind of bring out the ones that are swearing, it's after 9 p.m.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the second and third hour.
It's that second, third hour of Raw when they're starting to bring out the little bit more edgy stuff, which is okay with me. I mean, I'm okay with keeping the first like hour kind of more family friendly, and then rolling into the more adult
I
shit,
always
guess.
believed like wrestling they don't need to swear to make the program good.
No.
Yeah.
It does add something to a more adult audience, because if you're gonna replace say ass with butt, it just sounds terrible.
You're-
But-
Well, they did that to WCW.
they did it in WWE too, and it just sounds absolutely shitty. But
you're a butt face.
but like
No,
you look
it's
at
like-
why the Attitude Era was so popular. You've got a world more united than you have it now. Now socially, everyone's split down the middle, and half the people are like, everything is daisies and fucking everybody should be loved, and the other people are against that. When you don't have a united social system, they can't sell to one whole audience. They have to kind of pick and choose who they're selling to with each segment. And the WWE, the problem with them is their demographic is too big.
Yes.
It is. And I can totally agree with that. Trek, you gonna say something?
Two things that I do remember a specific incident. I think it was Hogan versus Goldberg, and Hogan, he goes, "I'm gonna kick his," and he like paused because I think he was gonna say ass, and they told him you can't say that. He goes, "I'm gonna kick his butt," and it just seemed so forced.
No, it didn't seem
It just
forced. It
doesn't
just
real
seemed
at all. An adult fucking 50-year-old man coming out there and being like, "I'm gonna kick your butt."
Bobby,
And
do you
then,
have- Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
then there was a conference call the other day where Vince even said, "We're gonna stay PG. We're gonna go edgier, but we're not gonna go back to the blood and guts." He goes, and then he wouldn't call him AEW, but he goes, "Our competition on TNT." He goes, "I can't speak for TNT, but I don't think they like the blood and guts thing very much."
They don't.
They
Well,
really don't.
you know,
I agree.
the thing is, I'm okay with them not going with the blood and guts thing. I'm even okay with them not going complete edgy, like like swearing every once in a while. Yeah, you hear like when you tell me anybody that was watching within these past couple of weeks when Roman swears, did you not go, oh, kind of a little taken back because they've made him into this like little homey papa figure, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm gonna fucking kick your ass or whatever, and what?
The thing is, Roman as a character actually needs that,
He
Mm-hmm.
does.
because he doesn't have the ability to get over without that. He needs that little bit of edginess. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with it. Like, I wouldn't care if they went 100%, but I understand their audience, and they need to kind of pick and choose where they use these things. But I also think that should apply to like blood. Some matches call for blood, and
They
some
do.
matches do not, and sometimes accidents happen, whatever. But
yeah, I mean, I just, I mean, I don't get me wrong. When there's blood, I'm all, whoa, awesome. There's blood. I like that stuff, but I don't like it when they get so brutal to the point where you're terrified that one of the wrestlers are actually going to legitimately get hurt.
Yeah.
Well,
like
here's a good
career-ending hurt.
A good example: Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar. That match didn't really need blood. But if you wanted to put blood in it, you could have done it safely instead of having him fucking obliterate his head with his elbow. That was pointless.
Like I look back on some of the greatest moments that I remember, and a lot of them were the stunts that was like, holy shit, is he alive? Like Jeff Hardy fucking jumping off the fucking Jumbotron thing.
There are safe ways to do those things, and then there's stupid, like the I'm gonna open him the hard way was a like I don't know why they did that multiple times with Brock Lesnar. I was like,
but
just blade.
But like the stuff with Jeff Hardy when he jumped off the Jumbotron, back then I was like, oh holy shit, do I want to see it again? Not really, because I know how much that's doing those moves has hurt Jeff Hardy over the years, and Matt Hardy and all of those wrestlers from the Attitude Era, because they're hurt. All of them, they're hurting.
Yep.
Certain spots are safe, even though they look death-defying. It's the same thing with like magicians, for instance. Sometimes things look like, oh, this person's putting themselves at huge risk, but at the same time, they're not really, because everything's rehearsed and they know where to land and what to do.
Yeah, but that one with Jeff Hardy with the Teletron.
Well, the thing is, Jeff Hardy's became a gimmick himself of death-defying stunts, and that's the problem. Like, they don't mean as much when you're doing them all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the one when Shane was fighting fucking Steve Blackman. You guys remember?
Yep.
And the one where Shane fell back, that one was more protected, because you could see when the boards broke through that there was a lot of cushion underneath there. Whereas when Jeff Hardy fell off of that freaking, when he did Swanton Bomb off the teleprompter, there wasn't that much cushions underneath there. So it made me think, okay, was he supposed to do that or not? Because
he was.
Why did they not protect him more?
He was. They played it a bit loose back in the day with Jeff Hardy. Like, I mean, I think in all honesty, the thing is, well, I think at the same time, like jumping off a 30-foot ladder onto like 5 tables and 2 guys is a lot. Like, people don't realize they probably get injured much more during regular spots than they do during these big spots. Yeah. Because the big spots have a lot of planning in them. The regular spots, you might land wrong from a German suplex and be all fucked up.
Right.
Did any of you guys happen to watch the 24 special with the Hardys?
I did not.
Okay, well, in that one, I believe it was a 24 special, but in that one, both of them actually addressed their prior addiction problems, because Jeff was addicted to
alcohol. I have seen that.
And Matt was addicted to pills. And they both basically said it was because of the breakthrough shit that they were doing. In the end of the Attitude, early Ruthless Aggression era. That ultimately was what led them in the downward spiral, because they were in so much pain all the time.
Yeah.
So they were taking pain pills, and then next thing they knew, they had to take more pain pills and more pain pills until they spiraled.
And then we had the Sting versus Jeff Hardy match, which was
that
was
the time I turned.
I'm going to say this: Goldberg Undertaker was better than that.
That was the one time that I turned on TNA wrestling, and I never watched it again after that.
Yep. Is there Bob? You got anything to add at all? Or did you fall asleep?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm alive.
I know you're alive. So the last thing that we're going to hit on, it has to do with Jim Ross and the Raw reunion. Now, I don't know how many more things there are. JR declined, as we all know. He was invited to come to the Raw reunion, but he declined because he wanted to save AEW from the social media rumblings. And this is a quote. There's a couple of things that led to this decision, and the main thing for me was if I had gone there, there would be a certain segment of social media society that I talk about all the fucking time that would have said, uh-oh, there's trouble in paradise. JR's looking to bail already. He's already back with WWE. There's something wrong with AEW. So that's why he did not go. Otherwise, he would have. But it's because of fucking social media, and I say it all the fucking time, and you fucking idiot stans and you idiot toxic AEW fans and WWE fans for that matter, that are not allowing like a JR, because he doesn't want to cause a fucking issue and have people get all butthurt by going back to where he got big. And JR is one of the best. He's top 2 commentators ever to go through this business. He isn't as good as he used to be, but he still showed the man some respect. And it's the fans' fault. Shame on the fans for this shit.
Well, it's the fans that want... And like the fans, they're not really fans. They're fans of drama more than they are fans of the actual business. And it's those ones that always look for these fucking things left, right, and center. It's like, oh, he wouldn't do that? Let me talk shit about it. Oh, he would do that? Let me talk shit about it. When that's your automatic reaction to something, you can just fucking eat a fucking bowl of bleach.
Right. Okay. Anybody else? No?
No.
Okay. Well, that being said, Bobbitt's got a fucking announcement.
Oh,
What's
yeah,
your announcement?
You wanted freaking NJPW download, didn't you, too?
Oh shit! Never mind. Let's do that first.
Sorry, Bobbit. I'll be
Go
quick.
ahead.
All right, so I'm just gonna give quick standings after this week. Next the next G1 match is actually tomorrow morning for us. And that one, tune in, folks, because it's gonna be the undefeated Kenta versus the undefeated Okada for the main event for that match. So that's gonna be good. But Okada and Kenta for the A block are both sitting on top at 8. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Archer, Evil, Ibushi, and Tanahashi are at 4, while Fale, Sonata, and Zack Sabre Jr. are coming in last, tied at 2. And for the B block, believe it or not, Moxley is leading the block at 8.
That's because he's from WWE.
He's undefeated. Then we got Juice coming up second at 6. Ishii, Yano, Shingo, and Tai Chi are all tied at 4. Jeff Cobb and Naito are in the bottom with 2, I believe. Wait, Naito might have 4 now. I'm not sure.
Yes, he does have 4.
Yeah, he's at 4 now. So, but yeah, that's what's going on. But tomorrow is going to be really, really good because, like I said, we got Kenta versus Okada. That's going to be a hell of a fucking match. So tune into it. But yeah, that's the rundown right now. If you haven't seen the one from the other day, the main event was actually Ishii versus Naito, and it was really fucking good match. So
I might have to check that one out. For sure.
Yeah, check it out.
I'm telling you, if Kenta beats Okada, I'm gonna Kurt Cobain.
You know what
myself.
though? I'm telling you right now, Basement. I think he's going to just simply. He may not. Okay. I think he's going to, because I think ultimately what it's going to end up being is it's going to come down to Kenta winning the A block and Moxley winning the B block, and they're going to have
I would just watch WWE.
But that's what they're going to do because they know. Think about it though; it makes sense. New Japan knows where the big money is, and these guys are just coming off of WWE. They got a lot of freaking people that know who they are.
But I don't think anybody that's a WWE fan actually gives 2 shits about Kenta.
I do. I care about Kenta now.
He spent more time injured than he did doing anything else.
No, the Kenta now in the G1 tournament is not the same Kenta that you saw in WWE.
But if their main goal is to get a bunch of people that watch WWE to watch New Japan,
it's a big
they can
money
do that
match.
If you're just a WWE fan, Kenta versus anybody is not a big money match for you at all.
Yeah, but if you have Kenta versus Moxley, because I honestly think that Kenta is like Okada's still their guy, but I think Kenta's going to be the second
Like,
in line there.
don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of Kenta, but I know he's great. I know he's a great in-ring talent and everything like that. I just don't. I always thought, like, when I watched some of this G1, I was like, they're gonna push Kenta hard, but he's not gonna win because they kind of want to reestablish him as a New Japan talent, even though because he's got a lot of, like, I guess, haters for him leaving and coming back.
But he was never in New Japan before.
Yeah, he was. He was in. He was in
Dragon Gate, wasn't he?
No, he was in Pro Wrestling Noah.
There you go. But I know, like,
in All Japan. He was in All Japan too.
Well, here's the thing. Kenta versus Tanahashi. If you haven't seen that match, please go watch it. It's a really good match. The psychological warfare that was going on in that match was unbelievable because Tanahashi thinks that he's the top dog, right? And Tanahashi holds a lot of resentment towards Kenta for leaving to go to America. So you could tell that he honestly really did not like Kenta because Kenta at one point tried to shake his hand the night before when they wrestled in like a tag match, and Tanahashi just walked away from him.
But yet Tanahashi will wrestle in America, no problem.
Right.
I don't fucking understand that philosophy.
But I think
it's all storyline.
Yeah, I think that storyline is going to where Tanahashi's getting up in the age. I think he's going to be maybe retiring pretty soon.
He's 42.
Right, yeah. But he's also injured. Like he's really he's always injured.
Well, he's 42. I'd be injured too.
And wrestling New Japan.
But over
style,
in Japan, they wrestle until they're like 75. But but yeah, I think that they're lining Kenta up to become not the new Tanahashi, but to kind of fill in his shoes as much as he can.
Right.
When Tana's gone.
But the thing is with Kenta to me is like there's a level of disbelief I have to place when I see him going against someone like say Okada or Tanahashi because he's just like he's a smaller guy. I don't care. Like this is the WWE and me talking. His look and his stature do impact how I believe he should be booked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Kushida. Yeah, well, Kushida's 202 pounds, but I think Kenta is 185, something like that.
Well, he did put on weight too. It looks like.
Well, he's like 5'8", 180 or something like that.
Yeah, it looks like he's stocked up a little bit because he was training with Shibata in the LA dojo prior to this G1, so it looked like he put on a lot of muscle.
Okay, that's good. That's a good thing. I haven't had a chance to catch up on G1. I'll probably wait until the G1 final because I do read up on it, and some of them sites are pretty detailed on what happens, so I don't have to actually go back and like just sit down. I might check out a match here and a match there. I did watch night one. I did watch night one, but I didn't watch.
My advice is check out the what is it? Ospreay versus Okada match. Ospreay versus Kota Ibushi was a great match. Check out the Ospreay versus Okada match. That was a really good one too. Lance Archer, just check out all of his matches because he's been fucking unstoppable.
Right.
This one. Otherwise, like it's been a little bit more on the slower side. I mean, Jon Moxley, you can check out his matches. They've been good. No, I mean, his matches have been good, but the only thing I don't like is every fucking match there's been a table introduced into it.
Jon Moxley is not made for New Japan wrestling.
I do not want to watch Jon Moxley wrestle.
But for me, the standout star of this G1 tournament for the B block is Ishii. Like that guy has been he's fucking ridiculous this G1.
He's only 43, I think. But he looks like he's about 78.
Yeah, Ishii, like every single opponent that he has had has been an amazing match.
Yep. Nope, I agree. Anything else, Gina?
No, that's it. Just next G1 is tomorrow morning, and then they have another one on Sunday.
And then the final is August 12th. I do know that.
Yes.
Okay. That being said, Bobbit, the floor is yours. Good talk. I'm just
Okay.
kidding. Go ahead.
I'm not okay. I'm not doing SummerSlam this year
Okay.
because I got something better in mind.
Okay.
The Friday before SummerSlam, NVW is going to Japan.
Oh fucking god!
It's going to be NVW versus New Japan Pro Wrestling.
This I gotta fucking see.
It's going to be called Clash of the Bobs. The main event. I'm going to do the card next Friday, but the main event is Captain Fanta versus Okada.
Oh, good God.
Wait, like, do they have New Japan characters on,
You
or
can
do you have to
download
make
them.
up? Oh,
You can make them.
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
didn't
somebody's
know you could
already
download
built
them.
Okada.
Okada. Of course, Okada's going to take on Captain Fanta. And Captain Fanta will probably fucking win.
Captain Fanta is rated like 710.
I love it.
The guy's fucking ratings at the roof. I want Blocky to win it all.
Blocky.
Anything else, Bob? You got more matches? Go ahead.
Nope. But yeah, next Friday the full card will be revealed.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. That being said, we are approximately 3 weeks away from SummerSlam?
Something like that.
Yeah.
We're approximately 3 weeks away from SummerSlam. There's a few matches out there that we know of so far. There's one thing I want to hit on before we get out of here, and that is
Me.
Did you see who was at Raw, but she never got in fucking ring? And everybody wanted to see her in ring. Alicia Fox.
Melina?
Alicia Fox?
She is now, I think they are forcing her into retirement.
Good, because when she shows up to work and she's drunk and she doesn't tell anybody and she goes out and she wrestles, that's fucking dangerous, and she's putting herself and the other person in the ring in danger.
Get her to join the Usos.
Legend fired.
Get her to join the Usos.
Like Heather just said, if it was up to me, she should have been fired.
I agree.
Pints and pile drivers.
Arn Anderson took the hit for her.
Because he was the producer for that match.
And he sent her out there even though he knew he shouldn't have.
Why is she even fucking employed? Like, I don't care if she's drinking or not. Like, she's terrible at everything.
And apparently, I mean, she knows how to wrestle.
She does?
No, she does. She does, because I've seen her wrestle live, at a Raw, but the problem is this isn't the first time that she's done this. Like, she showed up to work fucking blasted out of her ass, so.
Right.
Her best skill is that she makes stupid looking hats.
That and she makes stupid fucking noises. I just want to punch her in the fucking face.
She sounds like fucking Natsuki on that game last night.
Oh, we can't speak of that.
Oh, God.
Gave me to die in hell.
Yes, it does. Fuck you, Marvin. What? That's all I'm going to say.
Just remember, glass bottom boat ride. Anyway.
I'm sure Fox has some information on WWE they don't want getting out there. She's giving this many chances.
That's true. Like, she could have something against them or against one of their top stars.
There is one more thing. The WWE Network. Bobbit, you have that information. I'm sorry. I totally forgot about that. They changed. They're going to tiers now, it sounds like.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bobbit.
I got it right here. I'm not going to go into all the tiers.
You don't have to.
You're
going to have to.
Yeah. Alright. So, tier number 1 is completely, this is free. Free for everybody. You get video clips. You get 5 hours of the archive a month. Access to the 24/7 stream. Watch on all devices and full commercials.
But you know what though? I wonder if they didn't create. I wonder if they didn't create that bottom tier for that demographic that we were discussing, like those people that are in the South that like don't really have the network because they can't really afford it.
Most likely.
I think they created the bottom tier to get people to buy the next tier.
Yes.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. You know, like bring them in with that tier, and then you're gonna
taste.
Yeah, then you're gonna want them to. They're gonna want to move up.
Yep. Go ahead, Bob. Yep. No, I agree with you.
The next tier is $5.
Okay.
Oh God.
You get you get to watch all video clips, watch Big 4 pay-per-view events, pre-recorded NXT, access to the archive, access to the 24/7 stream, watch on phone and tablet only, and limited commercials.
Okay. Okay. Next tier is a $9.99 tier, which everybody gets, right?
Yeah, $9.99 is what it is now.
And then $14.99 tier.
Yeah, here's the big one. This is the big.
Which is worth. I'm going to tell you right now, it's worth the money.
It is.
Mm.
Go ahead, Bob.
$21.
You get all video clips, watch all pay-per-view events, watch all NXT takeovers, weekly NXT TV live, Cruiserweight Classic episodes, access to the archive, access to 24/7 stream, access to independent wrestling content, watch on all devices, no commercials, and fan perks.
Okay, so hold on. Here's what stuck out to me about that, and here's what I love about that. They're putting a highlight on the indies, I love that.
My question to you is: when they say no commercials, does that mean
no commercials.
WWE commercials as well?
Yeah, no commercials. Like those little WWE commercials that pop up during the pay-per-view wouldn't be there.
But that makes what do you get instead? Because the pay-per-view is having the same stream regardless.
Well, what I imagine is you probably get like
the ring being set up.
Pretty much, kind of like that New Japan thing. You know, where in between matches you see people getting up and going potty.
No.
That does not seem like that portion of it is really.
Either that, or maybe they're planning on keeping the announcers going instead of giving them commercial break.
The Ace says, "What difference does it make if the WWE Network changed their tier? They lost 300,000 subscribers since WrestleMania. Is there a reason they did it?"
I think that's the reason why they did it, because they were losing subscribers, and a lot of people it wasn't worth the money for them anymore. So instead of making it one price where you pay this one price or whatever, now they have the option of going a smaller package if they want to.
But I will also say, like, with the way WWE works now, where they're building literally towards the biggest show of the year, you're gonna have a certain amount of subscribers leave after that, because a certain amount of people. What was the increase before WrestleMania? Is my question.
See, that's the thing that people misunderstand. A lot of people, and these casuals, they only care about WrestleMania, so they're only going to sign up for the network, watch WrestleMania, and maybe catch a show here or a show there, and then cancel their subscription because they don't give a shit.
Well,
it's the same thing like HBO. I bet you they got a ton of subscribers for the time Game of Thrones was on. Then Game of Thrones ends, and they lose all those subscribers because that's what they're interested in.
And here's the thing. For the first month, you could get WWE for free. So a lot of people were signing up for the month, getting it free, and then canceling that subscription, and then creating another email and signing up again.
That's one thing that WWE
They should go by
That's,
IP address.
that's how they're losing money with this?
Well, that's I think why they switched to this tier thing. They will not offer, I bet you, any money once the tier switched, because the base level is free for everybody.
Mhm.
They're gonna get rid of the 1 month free $9.99 package. They
Yep.
might do it maybe once a year or something, like for a month,
Like a
but they
special or
won't do it. Yeah, they won't do it continuously because you can get the network now for free, though you have limited access to things.
And I guarantee it, those casuals will go the fuck away. Because they'll be like, well, I can't watch WrestleMania.
But I mean, it's not like for me too. Like I think at WWE, it's not. They got to kind of get away from the numbers game where quantity is worth more than the quality of the fans you
Yep.
have, and then maybe that will help narrow their demographic and help them be a bit more.
Mhm.
I guess
Well-
increase the level of show that they put out.
Well, and I think that another reason why they probably did this is to try to kind of combat people who are watching it illegally. You know, because you have these
guarantee
sites
it.
out there that you can watch basically any pay-per-view illegally, you know, so
Mhm.
if you make it more affordable for people,
Mhm.
then you might be able to eliminate some of that.
But it's also the people that watch it illegally only to watch. Like, I want to watch this month's pay-per-view. I don't really care about the Raw or SmackDowns. Why am I paying $9.99
Yeah,
to
right,
just watch a show every couple months?
right.
I mean, for what I pay for $9.99 a month, the content, there's
definitely
more
worth
than
it.
the pay-per-views on there. It's worth the money. It is.
I'll say the exact same thing. WWE Network has been worth the
Yeah,
money for me
I have
with
the
the amount of
$9.99 one.
the amount of watch time I've got out of it is worth probably more than the $9.99 that they're charging.
Mhm.
But again, we're more hardcore fans than most people, so
I mean, just with how many times you watch The Undertaker versus Goldberg.
they should have paid me for the
Drunk saver, drunk saver.
I mean, I'll stick with the $9.99 a month because other than the independent wrestling, it sounds like just everything we get, and the fact that they'll make NXT Live every week for the $9.99 tier. I mean, I'll stick with that.
Same, because I just don't have the time of day to watch all the independent
Me
wrestling.
neither.
I mean, I would love to upgrade, but the fact of the matter is, right now, I just don't have the extra money to, so I'll probably stick with $9.99 right now as well.
Gotta imagine too, $14.99 is like $21 here in Canada. It's not, that's a decent
Right.
amount.
21 guns. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll stick with the $9.99 because, like you guys said, I don't have the extra money. I just rather pay what I pay.
Well, just for the ability to do something when you might want to do it, it's like a $5 additional cost. That's a bit much.
Oh yeah, and they've already started rolling out the video clips because I'm looking at Monday Nitro now. It says more from this episode as a certain clip, so I think that's the first part of the new tier balance going out.
Well,
Okay.
you know, and I think that
Do you want to take it?
I think I might be a little bit more interested in getting the top tier if I knew what indie promotions they were showing.
I heard it might be ICW, like Shine, some of that stuff, but it's like you can see that on YouTube.
And not only that, but I can watch the indies because, like, because of the YouTube channel that I have, I got this freaking website that, as long as I shout them out every once in a while on my videos that I make every 6 months, I get free access to all of their indies channels,
Right.
or all of their indies, and this is all of the indies.
I think the
why-
more important
why are they
change
gonna pay more?
is, I think the more important change, in all honesty, is the lower tiers, because that's what's going to get them people potentially signing up for the like $9.99 is still the tier that I think most people will stick with, but the lower tiers now open a gateway for people that might not be able to afford that, but like are into wrestling but not 100% into it. Like I know people that like wrestling but they don't watch it religiously, so they'll be like, I'll watch WrestleMania, I'll watch Royal Rumble, but other than that,
Yeah,
I
that
don't really care too
I mean, that
much.
$5.99 tier, you get access to the 4 major shows of the year. So
The-
what
the
is that?
$5.99 and the
Royal
$9.99
Rumble.
will be the big ones.
Yeah, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. So I mean, if you think about it, for $5.99, if you're not that much of a hardcore wrestling fan, that's worth it.
Well,
Yeah.
the Ace is out there saying that they are oversaturating the market, and I mean, we've talked a million times off camera, off stream about how much they are focused on quantity over quality, which has been hurting them. And I understand that they're in like this expansive stage of the company where I'm pretty sure the board of directors are pushing to be like, we have something very successful. Let's be a global market. Let's be a global market. But the problem is, the bigger you get, the less quality you actually have with what you're doing. So.
Well, and Ace, I don't think you were here earlier, but he brought up that they're talking about NXT Canada, which concerns him. Well, guess what? They're talking about possible NXT China, NXT Japan, all over the place. And me personally, I think like if they're gonna do China and Japan and stuff, maybe like I don't want to say lump it together because I know they're two different countries, but it's like Germany and England and all that stuff. Like me personally, it should just be NXT Europe.
It's just an NXT with a bunch of talent from all these places in the world.
Exactly. Like different branches of NXT, but keep it just NXT so that you can have your stars kind of floating between the rosters. Like maybe every once in a while send Adam Cole over to fucking Australia.
I will say this. They are doing this in a smarter way than others have tried. Because yes, in a way it's oversaturation, but in another way, all of this is on the network in and of itself.
Yeah.
So you can watch it whenever you want. It doesn't have to be watched in that day.
Exactly. What intrigues me is the fact that they specifically said for the $9.99 and $14.99 tiers, live NXT weekly. We've never had that before except for takeovers. Every week is going to be live.
I don't know if it'll be live. I think it'll be televised. It'll air when it's supposed to.
Yeah, I think that just means that it's going to air like it is now. Whereas for the $5.99 tier, I think that you wouldn't get access to it until like the next day or maybe like a week later.
Yeah.
I will also say we're basically all on the same side of the world. Like, it's hard for me to say that if I was in the UK, for instance, maybe NXT UK would be my go-to. Where if I was in China, maybe NXT China would be my go-to when that eventually becomes a thing. It's like I don't know. Like I'm saying, I just love them all to like lump it together in NXT and make NXT 2 hours. But that's my perspective of being where I am instead of what other people might see or might prioritize because of where they are.
Well, to that point, with the talent they have now, they can make NXT 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Right.
They could.
Speaking of which, where the fuck is Bugenhagen? I haven't seen him in forever.
I think he's been released.
What the?
Well, if you go and search for Bugenhagen, articles on him, he not only went through a change in look, but he also went through a name change.
Yeah.
And if you search for that name within the WWE database, you cannot find it. And you cannot find Bugenhagen either.
If they released Bugenhagen, then I'm sorry, that was a big mistake because the guy was really good in the ring and he was great with the fucking crowd.
Well, you're gonna have to see, like, maybe there's accentuating circumstances that we don't see.
Right.
He may have first release, or may have something to do with the combine that they did a couple weeks ago, where he was kicking butt, but maybe it's just too much for him.
Maybe he got injured. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? All I know is I want my Bugenhagen.
I'm glad they released him if that's the case. That way I don't have to listen to that Bugenhagen bullshit.
You shut your front door about Bugenhagen.
I gotta say this, the NXT thing shut down the rumors that they go on the Fox Sports 1.
They haven't ruled that out, Trek. You do know that, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, the fact that these are coming out now and saying live on WWE Network, that makes it less of a certainty. I mean, it's just
not necessarily for the time being.
For the time being, unless AEW really starts kicking their ass and then WWE says, you know, we gotta fight back. Let's put 2 hours on Fox Sports 1.
What do they got to fight back for? It's gonna take AEW forever to get fucking off the.
Hey, Gina.
It's gonna take.
Yes.
I have good news. I'm on the Bugenhagen Twitter account. He's still in NXT. This is as recent as July 11th.
Fuck! God damn it! They need to release his ass. I'm sorry.
No way.
Yes.
His name is just too fun to say.
But
I know what you guys.
it's not Bugenhagen anymore.
Yeah, well, he will always and forever be
Well,
Bugenhagen.
you're wrong.
I don't care.
You're wrong.
I don't care.
You're wrong.
But I know what you guys. I know what you guys mean. I'm just saying that that's the first that popped out of me. But
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Trek. I'm just saying that's for the time being. I can guarantee you that.
Well, I mean, in the live thing, I mean, we're just going to have to wait to see. It's going to be really hard for them to do it live, I think, because of the fact that, like, because NXT also travels, it's going to be really hard for them to get back every week. I mean, unless they take the show on the road with them, but really don't see them doing that either.
No, me neither. With that being said, does anybody have anything else they'd like to add? Okay.
Check out all the games.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I had me a little bit worried today. I was actually gonna watch Batman today, and then I'm like,
The opening logo kept repeating on his computer at work.
yeah, I'm like, okay, so it's probably blocked at my work because it probably swore too much.
Oh my goodness. Batman streams are ridiculously good, though. Go check them out. So freaking funny.
Yep. Don't forget, check
Oh,
this
you
out. Starcade and Six Pack is up. I think.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
on Saturday, I think.
Actually, it's debuting tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow?
Isn't it?
I'll check that out tomorrow. It's a watch along, so if y'all want to watch along, it's
What the fuck is that seducer game that we played?
Super Producer? That's up
Super
already.
Seducer. Worst fucking game ever, but it's fucking really funny. Really funny.
all right.
My favorite so far, I mean, I love to put Batman streams and everything, and I like the Last of Us and all that, but my favorite is that Edith Finch one.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish the recording worked out the way I wanted it.
Yeah,
I
that,
should have got muted for part of it.
that was such a great game.
All right.
But anyways,
All right. Awesome. Is there anything else?
go fuck yourself.
Wow, that's just not
I'm
necessary.
kidding, I'm kidding. I love
We
you.
will be starting a watch along, Wrestling Memories. We're going to be doing a few recordings here soon. And the first episode of it will be the first Monday Nitro. It'll be a quick 45-minute show, and then the following week it'll be an hour and a half until because they expand. We'll want to do one show a week or whatever.
I'm looking forward to that.
It's gonna be it's our own version of the Monday Night Wars, and we're gonna do it up until the end, and then we'll move on to something else. So this is gonna be like a 3-year thing. It's gonna be fun.
I mean,
It's gonna be even longer. It's gonna be a 6-year thing.
Yeah.
I did not sign up for 6-year contractual contract.
Oh, Gina, shut
I'm
up.
kidding.
We'll be doing Wrestling Memories and JP's in the old folks' home.
Yep.
Get up
When
on
do-
the lawn.
When do you be 6 years? When do you be 6 years old, sitting here going, you know, my dad said. Yeah.
She'd be like, Dad, you wasted a lot of time.
So that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. We'll be back next week. I don't know if it'll be the same time. It could be, but we'll find out. Y'all check us out, and we'll talk to you guys next week. We'll see you in other shows throughout the week. Y'all have a great night. Check us out. It's good times. Y'all have a good night.
Father before you ejaculate.
Alicia Pop.
Fuck Bugenhagen. Fuck Bugenhagen. Fuck Bugenhagen.
That's such a great word.
Eat his buttocks.